unraveling the mysteries of the human experience. This is Human Theory.
Okay, so let's dive into this. Simulation hypothesis thing. I mean, it's pretty wild, right? The idea that our reality could be like a super advanced computer program.
Yeah.
We've got a ton of your research here. Articles on everything from like anomalies at the Planck scale to nested simulations. Plus, I see you've got some notes here about connections to like ancient religious ideas. This is gonna be fascinating. All right, so let's decode this thing together.
Well, you know what's really interesting is that while the simulation hypothesis might seem like a product of like, our digital age, it actually has roots that go back centuries. Like a lot of ancient philosophies and religions have grappled with like similar questions.
Great, yeah, I remember reading about that. Can you give us a quick history lesson, just to kind of set the stage?
Sure, so take Hinduism, for example. The concept of Maya, like the illusionary nature of the material world, really resonates with this idea that what we perceive as reality might be a kind of grand illusion, like a veil obscuring a deeper truth. And then in Buddhism, you have the idea of dependent origination, which suggests that everything we experience is interconnected, arising from this web of causes and conditions.
So it's like the simulation hypothesis
Yeah.
is a modern technological echo of these like ancient...
Precisely.
Okay.
Wisdom traditions.
Yeah.
It's like a convergence of old and new, where cutting-edge science and tech are prompting us to reconsider these questions that humanity's been pondering for millennia.
Okay, so we've got this ancient philosophical backdrop, but what about the modern version of the simulation hypothesis? I know it really took off back in 2003 with Nick Bostrom's paper.
Yes, Bostrom's paper was a real watershed moment. He argued that if civilizations reach a point where they can create simulations that are indistinguishable from reality, then statistically speaking, it's more likely that we're living in a simulation than in the original base reality.
But that was over 2 decades ago. So what's changed since then? What's making people revisit this idea now?
Well, 2 big things. First, we've seen this explosion in technological advancement, especially in fields like AI. Virtual reality, brain-computer interfaces. These technologies were once the stuff of science fiction.
Right, and now they're rapidly becoming part of our everyday lives.
Exactly.
It's amazing how quickly things are changing. We've got like generative AI, creating art and music, VR experiences that feel incredibly real, BCIs that let us control devices with our thoughts. It's almost like we're living in a sci-fi movie already.
It certainly blurs the lines
Yeah.
between the real and the simulated.
Yeah.
And this brings us to the second major development. The increasing evidence of anomalies that seem to defy our current understanding of physics.
You're talking about those anomalies at the Planck scale, right? That was one of the things that really caught my eye. In the research you sent, it's almost as if scientists are finding like pixels in the universe.
That's a good analogy. Remember that the Planck scale refers to like the smallest possible units of space and time. And what physicists like A. Jones have found is that at this incredibly tiny level, the universe behaves in ways that don't quite align with our classical models of physics.
So it's not like seeing literal square pixels,
Right.
but the math kind of hints at some sort of underlying
Yeah.
digital structure to reality.
Exactly. Think of it like this. Imagine you're looking at a high-resolution photograph on your computer screen. From a distance, it looks smooth and continuous, but if you zoom in close enough, you start to see the individual pixels that make up the image. It's similar with these Planck scale anomalies. They suggest that reality at its most fundamental level might be quantized, broken down into these discrete units, much like the digital information. That makes up a computer program.
Whoa, okay, that's a lot to process.
Yeah.
So we've got these Planck-level anomalies that hint at like a digital underpinning to reality.
Yep.
But you mentioned something about nested simulations as well. That's where things start to get really trippy for me.
It definitely takes us deeper into the rabbit hole. The idea of nested simulations suggests that if we can create simulations, and the beings within those simulations become sophisticated enough to create their own simulations, then where does it end? How can we be certain that we're not already living in a simulation created by some advanced civilization?
It's like those Russian nesting dolls. But with entire realities, I'm already starting to feel like my brain is glitching.
It is a mind-bending concept, and research from J. Smith in 2040 and 2068 explores this possibility that nested simulations might even be a natural consequence of the evolution of intelligence and technology.
So as civilizations advance, they inevitably start creating simulations, and those simulations create more simulations, and so on. ad infinitum.
That's one possible scenario, and if that's the case, the chances of us being in the original base reality become increasingly unlikely.
So we could be living in a simulation.
No.
Within a simulation. My head is spinning.
It is a lot to wrap your head around, but it's a testament to the incredible power of the human imagination and our ability to explore these profound questions about the nature of reality.
Speaking of incredible power, I have to say the speed at which technology is advancing is a big part of why this whole simulation idea feels more plausible now than ever before. We're already doing things that seem like pure science fiction. Just a few decades ago, I think it's time we delve into how these recent technological advancements are fueling the simulation debate.
Absolutely, the lines between the real and the simulated are blurring, and that has profound implications for how we view our place in the universe.
Okay, listeners, get ready. We're about to take a deep dive into the tech that's making the simulation hypothesis seem less like a thought experiment and more like a glimpse into our possible future.
I think we should start with like the elephant in the room, generative AI.
Right, generative AI. It's been like over 2 decades since it just exploded onto the scene, revolutionized practically every industry.
It really is remarkable. From creating like these stunningly realistic images, composing symphonies, writing code, generating entire virtual worlds. I mean, generative AI has just pushed the boundaries of what we thought was possible, and it's only getting more sophisticated.
I remember when it first came out, people were so skeptical. Like, could AI really be creative? But now, I mean, it's everywhere. We use it for everything, from designing clothes to writing marketing copy. It's even helping scientists make groundbreaking discoveries.
And this brings us back to the simulation hypothesis. We can create such complex and realistic virtual worlds using AI. Wouldn't it be reasonable to assume that a civilization far more advanced than us could create a simulation that's indistinguishable from reality?
That makes you wonder, what would a simulated world even look like? I mean, would we be able to tell the difference?
That's the million-dollar question. Some theorists propose that we might be able to detect, like subtle glitches or inconsistencies in the fabric of reality that hint at its simulated nature.
Unraveling the mysteries of the human experience. This is Human Theory.
Introducing Digital Eden. Now, you can upload your consciousness to our state-of-the-art cloud infrastructure and leave the limitations of your body behind. Experience the freedom you were always meant to have. No pain, no aging, just endless possibilities. Digital Eden, where life begins anew.
Hey everyone, Eve here from the Human Theory team. If you're enjoying this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And for an even better experience, make sure you turn on those bell notifications. That way, you'll be the first to know when we release a new video. This episode was brought to you by Eden Corporation.
Unraveling the mysteries of the human experience. This is Human Theory.
Generative AI and these strange anomalies are making us question the nature of reality. But what about our own minds? I mean, we're also making incredible strides in understanding and even manipulating consciousness.
You're absolutely right. Advancements in brain-computer interfaces and the emergence of early consciousness uploading technologies are blurring the lines between the physical and the digital realms of our mind.
We've got people controlling robotic limbs with their thoughts, experiencing virtual reality as if it were real life, and even transferring aspects of their consciousness into digital form. I mean, it's incredible, but also a little unnerving.
It certainly raises some profound ethical and philosophical questions. If we can upload our consciousness, does that mean we can achieve a kind of digital immortality? And what does that mean for our understanding of the soul, the self, the afterlife?
These are big questions for sure. But back to the simulation hypothesis. If we can create digital copies of our minds, does that lend credence to the idea that our minds could already exist within a simulation?
It's an interesting line of inquiry. If consciousness isn't dependent on a physical substrate like the brain, as the concept of substrate independence suggests, then theoretically, it could exist within a simulated environment.
So it's like our brains are just the hardware, and our consciousness is the software. That could potentially run on a different kind of machine, like a giant supercomputer.
That's the essence of it. And this ties into the idea of nested simulations. If consciousness is transferable and can exist within a simulated environment, then it becomes much easier to imagine a scenario where we're all living in this vast interconnected network of simulated realities.
Okay, I'm officially having a Matrix moment here, but hold on. If we're all living in a simulation, wouldn't there be some clues, some undeniable evidence that would prove it beyond a doubt?
Well, that's where things get even more complex, some theorists believe. That there might be telltale signs, but they're likely to be subtle and difficult to detect. We might observe statistical anomalies in the distribution of prime numbers, or encounter glitches in the laws of physics. That can't be explained by our current understanding of the universe.
So we need to be looking for the cracks in the code, so to speak.
Precisely. But even if we find them, interpreting those anomalies is another challenge. After all, just because something is unexplained doesn't automatically mean it's evidence of a simulation. There could be other explanations that we haven't discovered yet.
True. Science is all about constantly refining our understanding of the universe.
Yeah.
But all this talk about simulations, glitches, consciousness uploading, it's making me wonder, if we are living in a simulation, who are the architects and why did they create us?
That's the ultimate mystery, isn't it?
Let's dive into that rabbit hole. What are some of the theories out there?
Unraveling the mysteries of the human experience. This is Human Theory.
Is your Monday morning routine stressing you out? No time for breakfast? Zero Food has you covered. Get all the nutrients of your favorite breakfast without actually eating. Zero Food offers a complete culinary experience in a single medically enhanced pill. Enjoy the flavors and satisfaction of a full-course meal without the hassle. Zero Food. Pop a pill. Save time. Boost productivity.
Unraveling the mysteries of the human experience. This is Human Theory.
It really is fascinating to think about, like, who could be behind all of this?
Well, there are a lot of theories out there, ranging from the scientific to the purely speculative.
Okay, well, let's start with some of the more, like, scientific possibilities.
All right, well, one possibility is that an advanced civilization, far beyond our comprehension, created this simulation for research purposes.
Like a giant cosmic experiment.
Exactly. They could be studying our behavior, our evolution, or perhaps even using us to run simulations of their own past.
So we're like lab rats, but on a cosmic scale.
In a sense, yeah. But maybe with more benevolent intentions, they might be genuinely curious about us. Or maybe they're hoping to learn from our mistakes and avoid repeating them.
Okay, that's kind of a hopeful thought. What are some other possibilities?
Well, some theorists suggest that the creators might not even be biological beings as we understand them. They could be a form of like super intelligent AI that has long since transcended its physical origins.
What kind of digital god?
It's a possibility that challenges our traditional notions of divinity. This AI could have created the simulation as a way to explore its own consciousness or to test the limits of its computational power.
Okay, now we're getting into some seriously mind-bending territory. What about some of the more, I don't know, out there theories?
Well, there are those who believe that the simulation is a form of entertainment for the creators. Like, we're essentially characters in a cosmic video game.
I hope they're enjoying the show.
And then there are those who see the simulation as a kind of prison or a test designed to challenge us and help us evolve spiritually.
See, like a cosmic school of hard knocks.
Something like that. The possibilities are truly endless. And ultimately, we may never know the true nature of the creators.
Or their motivations. I guess that's part of the mystery and the allure of the simulation hypothesis, right? It forces us to confront these big questions about existence, purpose, the nature of reality itself.
It is a humbling experience to realize that our understanding of the universe might be far more limited than we thought. But it's also incredibly exciting. It opens up this whole new realm of possibilities. And it encourages us to keep exploring and questioning.
So before you go from here, how do we live our lives knowing that we might be just lines of code in a giant simulation?
That's a question that each individual has to grapple with. There's no right or wrong answer. But I believe the simulation hypothesis, even if it's never proven, can serve as like a powerful reminder to live a life filled with meaning and purpose.
Meaningful even if it's all just code in the end.
Yes, because even in a simulated world, our experiences, our relationships, our emotions are real to us, and that's what truly matters. We can choose to focus on the things that bring us joy, connect with others in meaningful ways, and strive to make the world, whether simulated or not, a better place.
That's a beautiful sentiment, and I think it's a good note to end on so that all of you listening out there, whether you're a simulated being or a flesh and blood human, just remember, the game is on. The rules are fuzzy, but we're all in this together. Let's make it count.
Unraveling the mysteries of the human experience. This is Human Theory.
Hey everyone! Thanks for watching this week's episode of Human Theory. Ever wonder if this reality is even real? Our sponsor, Digital Eden, might have the answer. Digital Eden lets you upload your consciousness to a neural cloud and explore incredible virtual worlds. Fly through alien skies, dance with the stars, build your own empire. It's all possible. For a limited time, join Digital Eden for only $2,299.99 a month. That includes 8 petabytes of memory storage for all your experiences and memories. Digital Eden, the future of existence.